All right, in this video, we're going to talk about the irregular verb nolo, which is related directly to wolo. With most verbs, you could make it negative by just putting known. Okay, but with wolo, it doesn't work like that. We're actually going to have a completely separate form that means to not want. Now, the good thing about this, and it could also be a bad thing, is most of these forms, notice I said most, are literally going to be the exact same thing, save for the very first letter. Whereas all of your forms of wolo would begin with a V, all of your forms of nolo are going to begin with an N. Okay, so here, let's talk about our principal parts because they are important too. We're going to have nolo, and notice we have macrons over both O's. Our second principal part is nole. Okay, again, macron over the O. Our third principal part is nolui. Okay, macron over the O and the I. And then just like with wolo, there's no third principal part. Okay, now this is to not want or be unwilling. Okay, again, just the negative form of wolo. Okay, and just like wolo, there are no passive voice forms. Okay, so that's nice. Again, it kind of shortens the amount that you have to write. Okay, but just like with wolo, we're really going to see that irregularity come through in the present. Okay, so here, let's talk about our present indicative. Okay, so we're going to have nolo. Okay, and I know your English teachers say to not use contractions, but for the sake of space here, I'm going to say don't want. Okay, so I'm going to say I don't want. Okay, your second singular is non vis. Okay, which is you don't want. For third plural, you'll have non-volt, again, 2 words, and this is he, she, or it doesn't want. Okay. On first plural, we will have nolumus, and this is we don't want. You'll have non voltus for second plural, and this is y'all don't want. Let me fix that. Let's see, voltus. Okay, y'all don't want. That's better. And then third plural. I started to do it. Third plural, sorry, nolunt. Okay, and that's going to be they don't want. Now, we could have also said is, am, or are not wanting. Okay, you could have said he is unwilling. That would have been fine too. All right, so going over to the subjunctive side, okay, what we're kind of doing here, and I'm going to change colors, and let's go with, well, why not hot pink, okay? For our subjunctive side, we're really kind of going in a way to take nolo here and just drop the O. It's a little different than what happened with wolo in the subjunctive present. But again, that's why these are kind of irregular. They don't follow the same patterns as our other verbs. Okay, so here on the present subjunctive side, I'm going to take N-O-L, and again I've got a macron over that O, and I'm going to add M for nolim. Okay, I'm going to have nolis. Okay, notice there's a macron over the I there for second singular. We will have nolit for third singular. For first plural, we will have nolimus. Okay, macrons over the O and the I. Nolitis, macrons over the O and the first I. And then nolent. And again, just here, a macron over only that O. Okay, so there's our present. And so for the imperfect, okay, we're going to do like we did with Wolo. Okay, we're going to treat Nolo like it is a third conjugation verb where we have our stem, Nol. We're going to add an E with a macron, that E that was in the parentheses before our imperfect endings. And then we're going to add bomb. Okay, now this could be was or were not wanting, used to not want, or kept not wanting. But that's a mouthful, and it's also kind of difficult to write. So we're going to make it a little easier on ourselves, we're going to say didn't. Okay, so I'm going to say here, I didn't want. Okay, for our imperfect here, we're actually going to have a macron over all three of the vowels for second singular. So no, le, bas. Okay, and this is you didn't want. Okay, no, le, bot. Okay, only macrons over the O and the E here, and so this would be he, she, or it didn't want. Okay, over the first plural, we will have no le bamus, and this is we didn't want. Second plural, no le batis, and this is y'all didn't want. And then third plural, no le bant. Okay, and this would be they didn't want. Okay, now over here on our subjunctive side, we'll go back to the hot pink. Okay, we're going to take, I'm going to scroll back up here. We're now going to take nole. Okay, and nole is going to be our stem here. All right, so nole, and we're just going to add that MST mustis und. Okay, so we have nolem. For second singular, you're going to have macrons over both vowels, but not the same for third singular. Okay, you'll just have it over the O. First plural, we go back to both the E and the O. Second plural, the E and the O. And then third plural is just the O. Okay? All right. So for future, we're going to go back to that NOL. Okay? And we're using the future endings for third, IO, and fourth. So we're going to use the es, et, emus, etis, ent. And when we get done with these, we're going to take a really close look. I didn't do it with Wolo, but we'll take a closer look here And you can go back and look at Wolo to see this very slight differences between these future forms and the imperfect subjunctive forms. Okay, so again, we're going to go back to that NOL, and our first singular is Now, we can say I will not want, but again, I'm making things a little easier on you guys, so we can just say I won't want. Okay, so I won't want. Okay, for second singular, you'll have no less. Okay, you're going to have a macron over that E, and so this is you won't want. Third singular is no let, and this is he, she, or it won't want. Okay. For first plural, we will have no lemus, and this is we won't want. For second plural, we will have no lettuce, and this is y'all. Well, let's fix that because that's doesn't look nice. Y'all won't want, and then no lent. They won't want. Okay, so there's the future forms. Again, there's no future tense, no future perfect tense in the subjunctive. Okay, but I don't think I can get them all on the same page. Almost. Oh, there we go. With the exception of first singular, what differences do you see between the imperfect subjunctive and the future indicative of Nolo? And you can go and look and you'll see the same thing on Wolo. These up here have the double L. These down here only have one L. So you're going to have to be very, very careful. Pay very close attention to the number of L's that are in your form. Okay? All right, so we're going to move on to... Did not want to do that. There we go. We're going to move on to the perfect. Okay? And so for the perfect, we're now moving on to that third principal part. Okay? So we're going to start using Nolo-y. Okay? So I'm going to scroll back down to that. And I'm actually going to write that right here. Okay? And that'll help us with making these forms. Okay? So... there. All right, so this form, Nolo-y, I can put right here. Okay? Now, I did not want, I have not wanted, but I'm just going to go back to didn't want, like we did with imperfect. Okay? So I'm going to just say I didn't want. Okay? For the rest of our forms, we're dropping that I right there. So our stem is Nolu, and then for the second singular, we're adding isti with a macron over that I at the end. Okay? And so this is going to be you didn't want. Okay? For third singular, we'll have Nolu, and we're going to add it, and this is going to be he, she, or it didn't want. First plural, we will have Nolu, and then we're going to add imus. And so this is we didn't want. We're going to have Noluistis for second plural. Y'all didn't want. And then Nolu erunt for they didn't want. Okay? Now, on the subjunctive, we're still taking, for perfect, we're still going to take Nolu. Okay? It is still our stem. But now we're adding those erim, eris, erit, erimus, eritis, erit. So we'll have nolu, erim. Nolu, eris. You know what? I didn't change my colors. And so before some of you start yelling at me or making fun of me, let's change it. So nolu, erim. Nolu, eris. Nolu, erit. Nolu, erimus. Nolu, eritis. And nolu, erint. Okay, so there's your perfect. Okay, moving on to pluperfect. Okay, for both sides, and I'm going to write it again up here at the top just so we have it. We are still using nolui as our stem. Okay, and we're going to drop the I there. Okay, so I'm going to have nolu eram. And this is I hadn't, or maybe I had not wanted. Okay. Nolu eras. And we're going to have the macron over that A at the end there. And so this is you hadn't wanted. We will have nolu erat with he, she, or it hadn't wanted. We will have nolu eramos. Okay, and we're going to have a macron over this A here towards the end. And this is we hadn't wanted. Nolu eratis, macron over that A. Y'all hadn't wanted. And then nolu erant for third plural. And they hadn't wanted. Okay, so there's our pluperfect indicative. Let's go and get the pluperfect subjunctive. Okay, now remember, we're going to take nolu, actually we're going to take nolui there. Okay, we're not going to put a macron over that I anymore. We're going to add sse, okay, and that's our perfect active infinitive, and then we're going to add n. Okay, so we're going to have nolu isse, and then S for nolu isses for second singular. Notice that I did put a macron over the E there. We're going to take the macron away over the E for third singular though. Nolu isset. But it's going to come back for first plural and second plural. So we'll have nolu issemus and nolu issetis. And then third plural, only the macron over the O, and we'd have nolu essent. Okay? All right. For perfect, future perfect, excuse me, okay, we're taking nolu, okay, and we're going to add ero, and we're going to have a macron over that O there. Okay. Now, this is... this literally, or more grammatically correct, would be will not have wanted. But in order to kind of save space, we're going to say I won't have wanted. Okay? I won't have wanted. Okay? Second singular is nolu eris. Okay? And this is you won't have wanted. Okay. Third singular is nolu erit. He, she, or it won't have wanted. We will have Nolo erimos up here at first plural, and this is we won't have wanted. Second plural, Nolo eritis. Y'all won't have wanted. And then third plural, Nolo erint. Let's fix that. It's a little too wild on that end there. Nolo erint. And so this is they won't have wanted. Okay, so that is Nolo. Hopefully you've already taken Wolo, and Malo will be next. Again, email me if you have any questions.